Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is get all of my beverages situated. I'm going to get my water going in this insulated jug thing, my body armor in this one, and then a little bit of coffee protein. I'll show you how I make all those. And then I'll be taking my prenatal for the morning. So in here, I'm going to add a ton of ice. So I like to drink these body armors every morning. I have one every morning. This is the low calorie, no sugar added one. And this really helps with breastfeeding. It's made with some coconut water and then a bunch of vitamins and some nutritional stuff. So I really like drinking these every morning. I'm going to add that to the Starbucks cup. And then I'm someone who likes all their juices diluted. So I'm going to put a little bit of water in here. About 4 ounces. Next, I'm gonna make me a little coffee protein shake drink thing. I like drinking these Premier protein shakes. I'll use about half of this added to this Starbucks cup, and then I'll add a little bit of coffee, and that'll be like my little coffee in the mornings. This is great. It has 30 grams of protein for the whole thing, but like I said, I'm only gonna do half. So I'll do half today, half tomorrow, and this is the cafe latte flavor. Again, I like a ton of ice. Okay, so those are my drinks for the morning. I will sip on my water and body armor. Once I'm done with this, I will drink my coffee protein shake. And then, like I said, I'm about to take one of my prenatals. And those are my beverages until I get breakfast started. For breakfast, I'm going to be making me oatmeal, and I'm going to be using these rolled oats, these old-fashioned oats. I'm going to use a little bit of water and a little bit of oat milk. And then I'm going to be adding some almonds from this unsalted mixture here, some cinnamon, and then a few blueberries. I'm also going to add a packet of stevia, and then I'm going to sprinkle in a little bit of protein powder for some extra protein. Okay, here it is. Now I do like mine a little bit more on the runny side. I did, however, pop it in the microwave for a little bit, as you can tell by the steam, because after I added that boiling water to the oat milk, it kind of cooled down, so I just wanted it a little bit hotter. So I popped it in the microwave for about a minute, but that's it. Once it cools down a little bit, I'm going to eat this, and that will be my breakfast. When it comes to snacking, I try to make sure I incorporate as much fresh fruits and vegetables as possible. So on this particular day, I had a small apple with some peanut butter. For lunch on this particular day, this was more of like a late lunch, early dinner because I missed lunch because we were running errands and that's just a realistic day. But I got the Southwest salad from Chick-fil-A, and then I also got a wrap, and that ended up being my dinner, and I just treated this salad as my lunch. And I used that avocado lime branch to put on both. I did end up splitting this wrap with my toddler. She ended up liking it, so I had half and she had half, or more like half of one of the halves. And then here is just that salad after I put the dressing on it and shook it up. So I'm going to be making some lactation cookies. I used to buy them from Target with my firstborn, but I'm going to make them myself this time, and I'm going to be using, I found this recipe on Pinterest, but I'm going to tweak it a little and switch it up because I don't have all the ingredients that the recipe called for. I'll put a picture on the screen for you guys, but I'm going to be using the same rolled oats that I had for breakfast, some brewer's yeast, flaxseed milled. This is basically just ground flaxseed. I don't have coconut sugar, so I'm going to be using pure cane sugar, almond flour instead of oat flour, and then I'm just going to add these in. I really wanted to use almond slices, but I ran out and didn't realize I ran out. So I'm going to be using these almond slivers, some cranberries, and then here is everything else. Cinnamon, almond, or vanilla extract. I'm going to add some pumpkin spice just because it's September now and why not. And then baking soda, coconut oil, and baking powder. Those are all the ingredients, and I will show you guys how I make them. Okay, so here's what it looks like before I mix it. I just wanted to quickly say I did end up adding some protein powder, a little bit less than a full scoop. I forgot to mention that earlier. And then I didn't do a full cup of sugar like the recipe called for. I just did a half a cup because I don't want them too sweet. But I think that's pretty much everything. I just wanted to mention those couple little adjustments that I made. So I'm going to stir this and add it to a baking pan or baking sheet, and then I'm going to preheat my oven for about 350. Okay, so here's everything after I mixed it up, and I've been like mixing it with my hand too because I feel like it's a little bit on the dry side. So I'm gonna add a little bit more coconut oil, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like. I don't have that much coconut oil left, so I may have to add a little bit of oat milk, but I'm gonna see with the rest of the coconut oil I have. I just feel like I need a little bit more just to kind of make like a ball. Right now it's a little too dry. So okay, so here is what it looks like after I added the rest of whatever coconut oil I had left, and it was about probably 1/4 of a cup that I had left. So I added that in, and now it seems to be a little bit better. I can roll them more into a ball. So I'm gonna put on another glove, roll them up, and I'll show you what they look like after they're rolled. Okay, here they are all rolled up on the baking sheet, and I have to admit they were still a little hard to roll. As you can see, this baking sheet is a mess, but I have my oven preheated to 350. I'm going to pop them in for about 15 minutes. I'm going to start with 15 minutes and check on them and see how they're doing, and if they need longer, then I'll add longer, but this is what they look like before. Okay, so here is what they ended up looking like. I will be honest though, they are a little crumbly. I am gonna stick them in a container and put them in the fridge, and hopefully they'll kind of like keep together. But I think next time I'll maybe use butter instead of coconut oil. I just know coconut oil was gonna be a little bit more beneficial. That's why I stuck with it, but these are a little crumbly. You can tell by this one here, but like I said, I'm gonna pop them in the fridge and see if that makes a difference. Okay, so just a little update on these cookies. I just want to be honest with you guys, they are a little dry. I tried to eat one and it's just like crumbling and falling apart. So I would definitely probably use butter, maybe add a little bit of milk, but they're definitely very crumbly. But yeah, definitely need something other than just the coconut oil because they are hella crumbly. Okay, so I am remaking those cookies because that first batch, they came out way too crumbly, as you guys saw. So this batch already looks like it's a little bit better, so I'm gonna get them into little balls and get them in the oven. And only thing I did different this time was instead of coconut oil, I used a stick of unsalted butter, and then I added 1 egg and a half a cup of oat milk, and I just used some Trader Joe's oat milk, this right here. So like I was saying, the batter already looks thicker and better, so I'm hoping they will bake up a little bit better. I'll show you the final results. Okay, so these already look better than that first batch. I did end up running out of room on my tray here, so I kind of had to cram them in, but I'm feeling a little more positive about this batch, so I'm gonna pop them in at 350 and probably about 15 minutes, and then check on them and see how they're doing, and if they need longer, I'll probably start with like a couple minutes at a time. Okay, so here they are out of the oven. They ended up being in there for a total of 18 minutes. This side got a little bit too golden. I had it pushed up against the side of the oven though, that was my bad. But so far they seem okay. I'm gonna let them cool down and then taste them and then let you guys know if these are it and if this is the final recipe that I recommend. Okay, these came out way better. As you can see, I already ate half of that one right there in the corner. But yeah, so all I did was swap out the coconut oil for a stick of unsalted butter, half a cup of oat milk, and 1 egg. And then they were in the oven at 350 for about 18 minutes. For dinner, I'm going to be making this Southwest marinated chicken breast. And I'm just going to keep the Southwest theme going. And I'm going to make some brown basmati rice with black beans. But I'm going to make red rice using this tomato bouillon and some chicken bouillon, and then we'll have some green beans from my mom's garden on the side. So I will show you guys how I will be making that. I'm gonna put my brown rice in the rice cooker. Okay, so here's my rice in the rice cooker, and I did about 1.5 cups of rice, and I just added these two right here. I did about 1/2 tablespoon of the tomato bouillon and then 1 cube of the chicken bouillon. I didn't add any more salt or anything because these two have a ton of sodium already in them. So there's the rice. Okay, in this pot I have my black beans, and I just used a can of those organic black beans, and then I did put a tiny bit of olive oil in the bottom of the pan, and then I sprinkled a little bit of this Goya adobo spices, seasonings. So I've never used this before, so we'll see how that tastes. And then in this pan here I have my green beans, and I just season those with the garlic salt with parsley seasoning, that one, and then a little bit of crushed black pepper. Here is that marinated chicken. I just added that to the pan with just a tiny bit of olive oil on the bottom. I didn't add any more seasonings because, as you can see, it's like heavily marinated, and I know what you guys are thinking, this is the biggest piece of chicken breast ever. I'm a little shocked myself, so we will see. But yeah, there's the chicken. Like I said, just a tiny bit of olive oil. I'm gonna get everything started, and I'll just show you the final. Okay, here is dinner. I just cut up that chicken so that it's just easier to eat. And then I just added a little bit of shredded cheese on top of the black beans and rice. This is how that rice turned out. Not bad. I haven't tried it yet to see how it tastes, but it looks okay. And then the green beans. So here is the final.